Welcome to my channel. My name is Lorraine and I help people live with passion, purpose and positivity. And the topic of today's video is forgiveness equals freedom. Now I'm still on the subject of grief surrounding the sudden death of my sister back in May 3 months ago. And it has been a very challenging time for me, but I'm gradually getting better and feeling like I'm getting back to my normal self. I do put that down to my programming of my positivity and living with passion, purpose and positivity. But on the subject of forgiveness in grief, it's about self-forgiveness, and I think it is very common in grief to blame yourself for things that have happened, and I'm no different. And also Sandra's fiance Richard, he's been feeling guilt and not forgiving himself and blaming himself for things, and together we have talked about it, about blaming ourselves, because the week leading up to Sandra's death she was complaining of feeling ill, and I said to her, well, go to the doctors, you've got to go to the doctors. She says, no, I'm fed up with doctors. Her fiance Richard said, go to the doctors. No, I don't want to go to A&E, I don't want to wait in the queue till 10 o'clock at night. And also a couple of friends, she said that she wasn't feeling well, and they again said go to the doctors. So, everybody has choices, and at the end of the day we can't drag her to the doctors or A&E. But still, I think to myself, if I'd have known then what I know now, obviously I'd have made her go to the doctors. And if she knew then what she's experiencing now, like she's in the non-physical experience, she would have gone to the doctors. And I do forgive myself. I'm being kind to myself, because it's very important to forgive yourself and not beat yourself up for anything. I mean, that could apply to anything that's happened where you're feeling grief or loss in any form, like in a relationship, or you've lost your job or your home, anything. You beat yourself up. We have a habit to beat ourselves up and say, I should have done it this way, I should have done it that way, and we blame ourselves. But we didn't know then what we know now, and in hindsight obviously we'd have done things different, and I'd have done things different in respect to Sandra and her sudden death. I'd have said more things to her. I'd have told her I loved her more, but she didn't know that I loved her. We talked every day. And I did ask myself, would she have forgiven me? I know for a fact that she would have forgiven me for not making her go to the hospital or certain things that have happened. I know she'd forgive me, because in the texts leading up to her sudden death on the 5th of May, I was worrying about my fish pond. It was all, I put stuff in it to get rid of all this algae, and it was all cloudy, and I was worrying about my fish. And I rang her about it, and she was very reassuring. She said, oh, it'll clear up, and of course she was right. And then later I said, oh, you've got more important things to think about, than me and my fish pond. She said, oh, that's okay. So she had that forgiving nature. So I can actually hear Sandra saying, Lorraine, I forgive you. I can hear her saying, Richard, I forgive you. Because she was that sort of person, kind, loving, caring, forgiving. And we've got to forgive ourselves, haven't we? We've got to forgive ourselves for things that we've done, because the consciousness that we're in, the vibration that we're in at that time, that's all we can do. We can only do the best that we're doing at that time with the resources that we have. So I have forgiven myself. So to a certain extent, this forgiveness, this self-forgiveness has given me freedom, because now I just think lovely thoughts about Sandra. I'm grateful for her. I'm grateful that she was my sister. I'm grateful that she was in my life. I'm grateful for all the love and kind, caring thoughts that she gave me. She was the only person that used to text me about everything, where, if I was going camping, are you there yet? How's Everly? How's Thea? How's the kids? Always wanting to know every single detail of my life, and I do miss that. But I appreciate that she used to do that, and I still speak to her. I do still speak to her. I have got a relationship with her. And I talked to Richard, her fiance, who's absolutely devastated, and he said that he watches things and reads things on grief, and he said that you can still have a relationship with the person that's passed away. And I do feel that I'm still having a relationship with her. But Richard is taking it harder than myself, obviously, because he was with her 24/7, and I am supporting him, but I can see him gradually thriving and progressing. And he has now forgiven himself. You know, I've encouraged him to be kind to himself and forgive himself. But he does cry every day still, and it's both touching and heartbreaking at the same time. And he says it's because he loved her so much. And I get that, you know, and I will support him in his journey through this grief, which might take a long time. But this is the last video I'm going to talk about grief, because I feel that I've covered everything that I've experienced in these last 3 months, and I'm hoping that I've helped you guys in some way. Because grief is, like I've said, it's not always about losing someone, it's about losing anything in your life. You know, if you're having a breakup in a relationship or anything, you feel grief, you feel loss. If you broke up, if your marriage has broken down after many years, you feel loss. It's almost like they've died. So, you know, forgive yourself for what you did, because you only knew what you're doing with what you had at that time. Anyway, I hope this video helps everybody. Have a wonderful day. Blessings to you, my friends. Much love and namaste.